All right, y'all. So we have had a strange week. It has been a strange week. And there's something I think at this point we have to address. And that is the populist no matter who voter. Because in that meeting last night, I believe Mom Donnie said that 1 in 10 people who voted for him also voted for Trump. That is not a small number. And I live in West Virginia. And let me tell you, this place is full of people who would vote for both Mom Donnie and Trump. All right, this is Chris, okay? We got a guy. This guy is Chris. Chris isn't a real person. Obviously, this guy is a real person, but you get what I mean. We're making a character here. Also, I tried to look up for pictures for this guy. I tried to look up guy from Appalachia. I did not find this picture there. Looking up pictures of guy in Appalachia was a mistake. Boy, oh boy, are stereotypes persistent. Anyway, we have Chris here, right? Chris is a mechanic. He lives in West Virginia. He likes football. On the weekends, he likes to go fishing with his buddies. And he is what would be known as the median voter. Now, a lot of people talk about median voters and they're like, oh God, these people are incoherent. And they are somewhat correct about that. But I think more often than not, the median voter is in the populist no matter who camp. So we're going to discuss Chris. Chris doesn't really like politics. He definitely has opinions about the way things should be run, but he doesn't really stay on top of the news. He just sort of trusts his gut. And Chris is in this very interesting financial bracket, because Chris is too poor to afford things like health insurance. His fridge always feels a little bit empty, but he also makes too much money as a mechanic to get any sort of benefits. And when Chris gets his paycheck, he sees this big ol' fucking chunk that gets taken out in taxes. Meanwhile, he lives on a back road, and it's full of fucking potholes. But at the grocery store, he regularly sees people nodding off over their food cards as they're paying. And that stokes envy. Because Chris can't afford to take off work to go fishing anymore. He's working weekends. He's still barely making it by. And he starts to think, man, I get this big chunk taken out of my paycheck every week, so that people can nod off over their EBT cards. Meanwhile, I'm working 80 hours a week. And I'm proud to do it. I'm proud. I like my job. But I'm working 80 hours a week. And I can't even fill up my fridge. And Chris, he knows some gay people. He may even know some trans people. There's a lesbian who works with him at the mechanic shop. And she's all right. They have beers together. There's a Latino guy who works there too. And they're buddies, you know? But Chris has heard some scary things about cities. About the gay people in cities, about the Latino people in cities, about the black people in cities. He's heard that there's, trans people doing strip teases for 4-year-olds. He's heard that black people can't stop shooting each other in the streets. And when he gets called a racist or a homophobe, he gets confused. Because he's like, I work with Latino and gay people, and they're my friends. We go have beers. I don't understand. But what I do understand is that I work too hard to not afford shit. And I need y'all to fully understand what a massive chunk of the population guys like Chris are. That is a sizable fucking chunk of the population. And those guys, if they vote, are going to vote populist no matter who. But they are likely to just not vote. A lot of these people see, like, two wings on the same bird, right? No matter what I do, the government's not looking out for me. I only can look out for myself. So I'm just going to keep working hard. These are people who would vote for both Mom Donnie and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. And while they do not really consider themselves racist or homophobic, they are racist and homophobic because they believe that there's this imaginary group of people who are doing these bad things in another place. And if there is no left-wing populism, they are going to follow that drive. But what people have refused to teach these people, the messaging that Democrats refuse to have, because they are neoliberals, they don't want anything to do with socialism either, is that guys like this would not have things taken away from them by socialist policies. Because that's what these guys think, right? They look at that big chunk taken out of their paycheck, and they think, oh man, they're just going to take more from me. They're going to take more from me and give it to the guy nodding off over his EBT card. They don't realize they are the beneficiaries of that policy. That the money is not being taken from them and given to the guy nodding off over the EBT card. It's being given to them by the billionaire who is off on a ketamine-fueled wellness retreat. I know, because I work with guys like this. I see guys like this literally every fucking day of my life. I bet you, just from where I'm sitting, I bet you if I went to any of these houses within a 3-block radius, I would find 25 of these guys. I'm not even joking. And I'm not saying we don't have our work cut out for us. We absolutely the fuck do. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is not stupid. And I don't actually think she's a grifter. I think she was a true believer. But she sees where the tides are turning. And if we do not primary the absolute fuck out of these mainstream Democrats, all the Chris's of the world are going to usher in a version of right-wing populism that is even worse than what we have now. So we gotta get it together. And how we do that is through universality. Universality is the key here. Universal health care and a food stipend for everyone. Literally everyone. And we can't afford it. We're the richest nation in the world. Because then it doesn't feel like to these people, oh, well, my money is being taken from me and given to these, people with EBT cards because I also get an EBT card. And it also breaks down that stigma. Like, these guys are also proud. And as much as I would like to be like, just get the fuck over it, I am also proud. And I also fall into this, little area where I make just a little too much to get benefits. So, I have sucked it up and applied. I don't qualify, but I also understand the feeling, especially men get, of not feeling like they can provide for their family. And I understand that shame. So universality would also break down the stigma of using this stuff. It is our only fucking option now. We have to force the Democrats' hand. We have to primary them with people who are endorsed by the Working Families Party. There's going to have to be an overhaul. And we can pull it off if we're smart. But we have to be smart. No more giving into this shit. No more giving into these fucking corporate Dems. They are never going to win again. I am telling you this right now. There are so many disillusioned Democrats. There are so many guys like Chris running these ancient corporate Dems. It is never going to work again.